It's time for another one-off rebuild, and this time we're heading over to France to try and rebuild bottom of the French league table, Lyon. That's right, we'll be giving ourselves 5 years within Football Manager to try and rebuild Olympique Lyonnais. Now this is a club obviously steeped in history, no European success but plenty of domestic success, coming particularly in this early 2000s period where they won 7 Ligue 1 titles. However, after only 4 games this season, their team is sitting bottom of the French league. They've sacked their manager. There's videos of the Lyon players in front of the ultras being told that they're basically a disgrace to the club and don't lace the boots of former Lyon players. So the club is in disarray and we're going to try and fix that in today's video. Before we get stuck in though, if you do enjoy the video, please go ahead, hit that like button for us. The YouTube algorithm sees that you've done that and thinks, wow, it must be a good video, and then pushes it out to more people, and I'd really appreciate any support as we get closer towards the end of FM23. Obviously there's less people watching, so any support like that would be massively appreciated. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well if you're in this percentage of people that are watching the videos and aren't subscribed. We've got FM24 coming out soon, so you'll have plenty of content coming out, so hit that subscribe button and comment down below which rebuild you'd like to see next. All of these rebuilds come from suggestions from you guys, so who knows, the team that you suggest might be our next rebuild. But let's get stuck in here at Lyon. As mentioned, plenty of history, predicted to come third with the squad they've got. We have got the transfer update on, and we've got good facilities all around and a huge 60,000 capacity stadium. Our best players include Alexandre Lacazette, Corentin Tolisso as well is a good player in midfield. Nicolas Tagliafico, formerly of Ajax, is a great left back option. But we also have plenty of players with potential like Mohamed El Arouche, whose ability is just below first team level but has huge potential. The same for centre back Sinali Diamonde, although he might get some more game time than others might. And of course, the jewel in the crown that is Rayan Cherki. The player is compared regularly to Eden Hazard. He had a great season last time out, really started to fulfill some of that potential he has, and this year we're expecting to see something similar. Great ability, great potential, already one of our better players, I would say. And we've also got Maxence Kakare, a brilliant number 6 who can play also as a central midfielder. Great ability all round, great passing ability, and a creator in our team who at 22 and being homegrown is going to be a big part of this rebuild. Financially, we're looking very healthy with £80 million in the balance. We've still got £8 million to spend here, so I'm going to see what I can do with that money, maybe bring in 1 or 2 players, and then next season will be when the transfers really kick in. But let's see what we can do in the first season's transfer window. And Q, by the way, I've made some little animations, so Q, the little transfer animation. Be honest with me guys, how was it? Was it any good? Do I need to improve it? There's a good chance I do. It took me a full 2 minutes to make that on Canva, so hopefully it was worth waiting for. But yes, we have made a sale here. The only sale to note in Season 1's transfer window is our left back Henrique leaving to FC Lorient, also in the French divisions, for 450k. Didn't really fancy him, didn't have too long on his contract, so I thought let's move him on and get him out of the club. In comes a backup goalkeeper behind Anthony Lopez in goal. By the way, here's Anthony Lopez, our starting keeper and one of our best players, but we've got a new backup who could potentially become a good option in the net. It's Marian Ioani here. He only cost us 1.8 million, joining us from the Romanian divisions from Farul Constantana, and we've actually loaned him back there for a season. I didn't think he'd get any game time this year. We've got a backup keeper this year who will move on next, and I feel like he'll benefit from the game time, so he'll stay at his club for an extra season, and that's the same for another transfer. And his name is Denis Dragus, a Romanian international playing in the Belgian divisions. He was at Standard Liège, where he had done pretty well last season in the Jupiler Pro League. We've paid £2.5 million to move him across the border from Belgium to France, but again, not really ready for first team football, so we're loaning him back out to Standard Liège for the season. And actually, he came through the same club by the looks of it that we just signed our goalkeeper from. But our big money signing up top is 22-year-old Spanish striker Abel Ruiz, who has international appearances and was playing for Braga, having came through the Barcelona academy. Didn't really score much at Braga. We paid 7.25 million. I feel like it's a transfer that could work out, and he does suit the complete forward role, which is a role that we have in the tactic that I've came up with. So with that being said, we know the transfers, we know what we've spent, let's see the tactic. Now you might think I've signed too many strikers. Well, we're playing a 2-striker system, and I'm actually going for something a little bit different here than normal. No 4-2-3-1 gegenpress, no 4-3-3. We are going with a 4-4-2 diamond narrow formation, still a gegenpress mind you, where we've actually got a trequartista who is Rayan Cherki, who we're going to ask the assistants play as often as possible when we holiday. The same for El Arouche, the same for Diomande, and the same for Abel Ruiz. Hopefully those guys get enough game time that they can start to develop quite a lot. But the reason I've gone for this formation is I didn't really fancy our wide talent, and also we've got so many great central midfield options that I wanted to fit them all into one team, so that's what we're going for. We could have used Cherki off the left actually as an inside forward inverted winger, but we're trying something new, trying a new tactic, and hopefully it will work out well. As mentioned, we're predicted to come third in the league this year. There's three aims of this rebuild really. The first one, and the easiest one, is don't get relegated, don't be in a relegation zone like Lyon are in real life, and that should be a cakewalk. Second, try and overtake PSG in the league, and third, try and win some European silverware, which French clubs haven't done very often in the past, and Lyon, I mean, have never done it. I actually think there's some kind of stat. I could be wrong here, but I feel like it's only one European trophy win for a French team. That might be absolute rubbish, but I feel like someone mentioned that to me before. Either way, it's not a nation that's blessed with European success on a club level, so hopefully we can deliver some silverware to Lyon here. But now it's time to simulate the first season, see how we get on before we really get stuck in. So again, we've got a new animation, let's check it out and let's get in to season 1's results. That was pretty cool, I think, right? Anyway, there you go. The animation is over. Let's see how we did. Only in 2 competitions this year, apparently. The French Cup, where we were runners-up, losing to Marseille in the final. Very disappointing, considering we knocked out PSG 2-1 along the way. So, yeah, that is a bit of a disappointing one. Could have had a French Cup under our belt, but it was not to be. And then in the league, we finish in 3rd place, behind Monaco and also PSG. We were predicted 3rd, so it kind of does make sense. 83 points, 11 points away from PSG, who did lose 4 games. Twice to us in the league and to us in the cup. So clearly there's a bit of an edge between us and PSG. We might actually have a chance of overtaking them here. And they drew 4 games. Meanwhile, we only lost 5, but we did draw 8 and we lost twice to Marseille. And with that being a rival club, that's certainly not something that we wanted to happen. We might have won all 3 games against PSG, but we lost all 3 to Marseille. Mohamed El Arouche had a great season by the looks of it. We'll check that out in a second. But as first seasons go, I can't really judge it too much. We haven't really made our signings yet. No one's really improved the first team. So we're not going to analyse it too much. We'll just have a look who our best performers are, and then we'll go for it next year. So if we have a look at the average match ratings, Abel Ruiz had a brilliant first year. The only major signing we made, went on to score 21 goals in 36 appearances with 7 assists. A very deadly striker. Lacazette managed to bag 23 goals in the league with 14 assists, so a very good season from our striker duo. Ryan Cherki has done brilliantly as well. 12 goals, 10 assists at the age of 19. We've had El Arouche get 9 goals and plenty of assists as well, as we saw earlier. So he's developing well. And overall, I've got a class that as a decent first season in terms of player development, and on the pitch, kind of what you would expect. We didn't get relegated at least, so we're doing a better job than Lyon in real life, but now it's time to really get stuck into things. Financially, £39 million in the balance, £17 million to spend, with plenty of clauses that we could sell too. We could make some money off Paqueta, Joachim Andersen, so I'll have a look into that, and hopefully we'll manage to get some signings in and change this team around. So let's get stuck in now, see who the scouts bring up, and make some transfers. Running through the sales quickly, obviously we didn't use wide players in our tactic last year, so a lot of the wide players did want to leave, and those guys weren't really going to get a chance. We've moved quite a few on. Firstly, Brayton Fogiu here has gone to join Brest for 200k. Moussa Kante, a 19-year-old Senegalese player, has gone to join Lens' second team for 210k. Obviously, all small amounts, but they do make a difference. Brazilian Jefinho has gone to join Montpellier as a squad player. Lyon looked like they might have overpaid for him here. We've then gone and sold him on for a real cut price fee, but look, he's not my player. We were never going to use him. He's 23. Let's sell him on and get that cash to reinvest. We've sold 25-year-old Ivorian defensive midfielder Paul Okoku here. He's gone to Las Palmas in Spain for 750,000. And we've also let go of Zimbabwean 27-year-old Tino Kadewere. He's gone to join Reims and is actually going there as an important player for 3.1 million. He didn't start much for us last year, but did come off the bench 22 times to a decent effective level, but I just felt like with the players we bought in, we may as well let him go. Speaking of the players bought in, we bought in this 21-year-old by the name of Yassine Ketcher, a Moroccan attacking midfielder who I'm hoping can deputise for Ryan Cherki in that trequartista role, or basically behind the strikers, as at number 10. 5'5", 21 years old, good technical ability, and nice bit of pace as well. He joins us from Havre AC in the second division after a decent year there. Scouts recommended him, decent fee for 3.5 mil, and if nothing else, he'll develop and hopefully we'll make a profit on him. We signed a defender from Troyes by the name of Jackson Perozzo, an Ecuadorian 22-year-old left-footed centre-back who I feel like could be a great option for us. He's not the best passer in the world, but as an out-and-out defensive option, he's got a big physical presence, 6'4", pace, strength and height, decent in the air as well, and can defend nicely. He's only cost us 5 million, was on loan last season in the Greek leagues, and I feel like that's a pretty good signing for us, valued at about the same amount that we bought him for. But I'm hoping he'll turn into a good first-team player this year, and then maybe as the years go on, become a good squad-level centre-back. Arguably our best signing in terms of value, though, is Marko Bulat, a Croatian 21-year-old with international experience, who we've signed from Dinamo Zagreb for a small fee of 6.25 million, and he was very good for them last year. He's now valued at 40 million pounds, great potential and great ability straight away, can play all along that midfield diamond, at the base of it, in the centre, or even going forward at a push. A very nicely balanced player who can dribble, pass, create chances and score goals, nice physical presence as well, and hopefully someone that's going to turn into a great player for us. And finally, our big signing of the summer for Austrian 24-year-old Kevin Danzo, who joins us from RC Lens after a great year for them. He is a top-level centre-back. We needed some improvements there. I think our best player was Dejan Lovren. I'll check out the best 11 in a second for you. But yes, he's got good strength, nice pace, nice jumping reach, heading ability, can pass a little bit better than the last defender we looked at, but still not the best at it. But as an out-and-out defender goes, Kevin Danzo certainly fits the bill. So that was the players sold and the players bought in, and now if we check out our best 11, it looks like this, with Anthony Lopez in goal. Clinton Mata is our right back, an Angolan 30-year-old. You know Perozo and Danzo as well. Balat is in the midfield with Kakare and Tolisso. Then it's Cherki, Ruiz and Lacazette, with plenty of good players on the bench that maybe we can sell on in the future. Maitland-Niles, Ren Adelaide, also Dejan Lovren here, players that I don't really see too much of a future for in this team. But overall, I feel like I'm happy with this first 11. I just want to improve the squad depth a little bit, particularly at fullback, also in these midfield areas. And do we want to rely on Lacazette long term at the age of 32? I don't know. I mean, he is scoring goals, but we'll soon see. So this is our team. We've set ourselves up. If we have a look at the season preview, we are predicted to come fourth, so not as good as the year before, and actually way worse odds than Marseille and Monaco. So clearly the fourth favourite by a long distance. But hopefully we can go out, overperform expectations. We've only got 5 years to win some trophies here and rebuild the club. So hopefully in season 2 we can get started. So let's see how we get on. And it is a strange season. I'm not too sure how to feel about it. The French Cup knocked out by Marseille yet again, this time in the 11th round. We didn't even make the quarter-finals, so that's disappointing to lose to them once more. We did one-up them though by beating them in the league, getting 69 points and finishing in third place, but still a distance off Monaco and a big distance off PSG. That's going to be a very hard gap to fill. 81 points for PSG isn't even that much. We're just losing and drawing far too many games. If you have a look, 9 draws is not good enough, not scoring enough goals by the looks of it in some of them games, so we'll have to improve on that. So yeah, the league not the best, but we do qualify for the Champions League, where we were this year, and we got all the way to the round of 16. I say all the way, we made it out of the group, which is something for us. In a group with Man U, Bilbao and Dortmund, it certainly wasn't an easy one, but we picked up 10 points, losing 2 games to Man U and Bilbao, drawing once to Dortmund, but getting a win against all 3 teams, particularly an away win at Old Trafford, and going away to Dortmund and winning there as well. Very impressive results to make it out of a very tough group. Then in the round of 16, we got put up against Real Madrid, who beat us 6-2 on aggregate, 4-0 at our home stadium. Not the best in the world, but after 2 seasons to get to the knockout stages of the Champions League, I'll take it. We just hope that we can do better and better each year. Abel Ruiz was once again one of our better performers with 16 goals in 33 appearances, now wanted by Bayern and Real, so it might be a struggle to keep him. Lacazette still scoring, Ryan Cherki doing very well and developing into a top tier talent now. We've got Kevin Danzo doing great, and overall a good season for a lot of our new signings. Alarouche kind of off the pace a little bit, but still a good year for only a 20-year-old player. But we have been given a nice bit of money to spend this summer. 38 million, about 100k in the wage budget, and financially the club is in a nice place. We're not struggling too much in that sense. We are improving facilities over time, and if we have a look financially at the debts and the loans, there isn't too much there either. So overall things are going well. There's money to spend. Certainly not the same situation as we were in our last rebuild, where we were really strapped for cash, but this time hopefully with 38 million we can take this team to another level and bring in some stars. Before we get into the transfers, don't forget, if you are liking the video up until this point, then go ahead, smash that like button for me. I'd be massively, massively thankful. Subscribe, comment, all of that stuff helps in the algorithm, and as we push for 25k subs, any of that really does help. So thank you guys so much, and let's get back to the video. Firstly, Dennis Dragus, who we signed in year 1, loaned him back to Standard Liège. We did use him in season 2, but he only started 3 times, and I feel like he might be a bit of a waste of money. So I've sent him on loan to Amiens, where hopefully he'll get some football. Maybe we can sell him eventually and make that money back. But this might have been a bit of a failed transfer, clearly not good enough. I thought he could be a decent squad option as a striker, but he goes out on loan and we'll see what happens there. And we've also sold 19-year-old Roman Perret, who did have decent potential, looked like he could be a good player, but he has been sold for 575,000 to Lille. The offer came in, he decided he didn't want to stay, he wanted to leave. Whether he would have developed into a top tier player with those physicals, I doubt it, but it is sad to see a good promising young talent leave the club. Not to worry though, because we've bought in some other promising young talents. 19-year-old João Neves, a far better player, has joined us from Benfica for 6 million, had a great season for their B team last time out, 7 goals and 6 assists in 26 games with great average match ratings as well. I think he is going to come in as one of our better options in the midfield, particularly in that attacking sense. We have a lot of defensive minded players, but João Neves here clearly is favouring that attacking role, can score goals, can create, and hopefully at 19 has plenty of years to get better yet. Dejan Lovren is on his way out, and I don't feel like he's going to have the ability to play much this year, so Taylor Harwood-Bellis has joined us from Man City on a free, spent a few seasons out on loan, did quite well with Southampton here, went back to Man City, didn't play, they've let him go, and we've picked him up as a squad option, you know, 4th choice centre-back who we might make a profit on in the future. 22, nice bit of potential as well. I don't feel like it's bad business at all to bring someone like him to the club. We've signed a new right-back to compete with Clinton Mata, and it's 22-year-old Brazilian Nathan, who comes in as I think our best option in that position. Nice ability, decent potential as well, likes to go forward but can defend at a good level. 6 foot, international experience with the under-20 Brazil side, has been playing for Santos, also spent a year in Portugal on loan, but I think 6 million is good business for a right-back of this level. Clearly, when he's valued at 20 million, we've got ourselves a good deal here. But the majority of our budget went on our long-term Lacazette replacement. We have gone for French division forward Arnaud Coulimendo, who's been playing for Rennes and scoring goals at a decent level, but I feel like here he's going to do an even better job. He joined them from PSG, spent 2 seasons scoring the odd goal in year 1 and a few more goals in season 2, but I feel like he's got everything he needs to be a top-level advanced forward for us. In our tactic, I feel like he could be great. We did spend a lot in £20 million to bring him in, but he's apparently valued at 65 mil. 22-year-old French international as well. Hopefully he'll get more experience in the French team after playing for us, doing well and getting some international call-ups. I feel like he has the potential to certainly do that. And with that done, they were our transfers for season 3, and it leaves our best team now looking like this, with Lopez in goal, Nathan at right back with Danzo, Perozzo, Tagliafico as our defence, Bulat, Tolisso, Kakare, Cherki, Abel Ruiz and Coulimendo. We're starting to put our own stamp on this squad. Quite a few players were signed by us, so that's our team ready for season 3. Hopefully we can do a bit better this year. Still predicted 4th, but maybe this season we can start to get some silverware. And this is certainly progress this season, because despite losing in the 11th round of the Cup again to Lens, we have ended up finishing 2nd, only 5 points behind PSG, and our best points total so far. Nowhere near as many draws this season, but more losses, and PSG only lost once all year. Very disappointing to see them doing so well, but we finished 5 points behind them, 2 points ahead of Monaco, the first time we overtake them in the league. Marseille fell all the way to 11th place, and we are closing that gap between us and PSG, who, by the way, have got better and better. I mean, their first team now. They've bought in Victor Osimhen now. If their team wasn't already good enough, he's now at the club. But definitely a good 3rd season. We are closing that gap slowly but surely. You can see the progress we're making. Champions League, I have no idea how we did. Did we make the quarters? We actually did, and we beat FC Okay, right, hold on. Did we make the semis then? We might have actually got to the semi-final. We did, when we lost to PSG, of all clubs, who have made the final, and we don't even know who the winner's going to be yet. Hopefully it won't be them, but they beat us 5-3 on aggregate with a 5-1 win at their stadium, meaning we did actually beat them 2-0 in our leg. So that is quite unfortunate, but it's not a terrible result to make the semi-final of the Champions League. Just a shame we lost to PSG. Like I say, we did beat Bayern to get there, round of 16. We beat Real Madrid, so we knocked out some very good teams to get all the way here. Fenerbahce as well. So yeah, very happy with that as a season for sure. We're making a lot of progress. If we have a look at that 2-0 win against PSG, it was João Neves who got both goals, who looks like he's had a good year and is developing nicely. For £6 million, 5 goals and 7 assists is certainly a good result. And if we have a look at the rest of the top performers now in this team, we can see Abel Ruiz has had a brilliant season, his best yet. 28 goals in the league, but 40 goals in all competitions with plenty of assists as well. The Spaniard, I don't know how he hasn't got more caps for the international team at this point. but he is a star player for sure. I mean, it says it there, and he certainly fits the bill. Mendo as well, with a good first year, 28 goals in all competitions, developing very nicely at the age of 23. He's been playing in that advanced forward, linking up with Abel Ruiz and creating a nice partnership. João Neves, as mentioned, did well. Ryan Cherki, another great year for him, being a very consistent performer at the club now and developing so well into a real talented player. Nathan's had a good first year at the club as well. If we have a look at Kakare, developing very nicely too, 25 years of age now, heading towards his prime, somehow still not capped for the French national team, but a very handy player to have in our lineups. Definitely a good season for us and something to build off. Still no silverware though, with only 2 seasons to go, so we need to start improving in that sense. But we have got £138 million in the balance, 60 million to spend, so maybe we can upgrade the facilities sometime soon, and also 100,000 in the wage budget. With 60 million, you can assume we're going to make some big transfers, so let's see what the scouts have got for us and get stuck in to our penultimate season in season 4. And we've lost a huge player, one of our leaders at the club, our 34-year-old goalkeeper, Anthony Lopez. He's left to go to the Qatar divisions to join Al Gharafa, and yeah, he just wanted to go. The offer came in, he said he wanted to try a new challenge, so we're going to have to replace him in goal, and we only got 2 million, which for a 34-year-old maybe actually isn't that bad. Clinton Mata's been getting worse over time, hasn't really grown with the club, and the Angolan at 32 just wasn't worth having anymore. He had 1 year left on his contract, so we've let him go for 105k to Genk in Belgium, where he hasn't really played too much for us in the last 2 years, so it's not going to affect us all that much. And Ainsley Maitland-Niles, another notable player, has left to go on loan to Reims. There is a buy option there for a very small fee, but hopefully they take it, because this guy just hasn't really been playing for us all that much. A few starts, a few bench appearances, but I just don't fancy him really as a player in our team, so we're going to try and get rid of him. He also does take up a foreign squad spot. If you don't know, I think we have 4 of those spots in our team, so we have to be careful with who we're signing. But it is a big summer of incoming, so get ready. I'll try and rush through them as quick as possible. The one you'll be least bothered about, we have signed a new gen player, a 17-year-old player from New Zealand who is a free agent, having played for Groningen. He's been loaned out straight away, but we've got him for free. Great potential, decent ability, high valuation, and nice to see a wonder kid from a nation like New Zealand, to be honest. Could be a decent number 10 in the future. We'll see how that one plays out. The next smallest fee was another free transfer, Astor of Ranks, joining us to be a central midfield option. Belgian under-21 international, 22 years of age now, has been playing for Wolfsburg. I say playing, never really got any first-team opportunities, not deemed good enough, but for us, could definitely make a decent squad option in that box-to-box role in the midfield. Will he see much game time? I doubt it, but he's someone to have who could potentially make us some money. Bought him for free, valued at about 15 million. Seems like decent business. Our new goalkeeper wasn't too expensive, but was very highly rated by our scouts. It's Marco Carnesecchi here. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he has joined us from Atalanta. He's been their goalkeeper for a couple of years now. Wasn't in season 1, but season 2 and 3. Played plenty of times, did decently well. 6.5 million for a goalkeeper who's 6'3", good aerial reach, good command of his area. Comes in as our best option and a very consistent performer as well. At 25, not even in his prime yet, so hopefully we'll start to see him come into his own over time, and with 14 leadership, maybe can take up Lopez's role eventually as one of those club leaders. We've signed another right back to compete with Nathan. With Clinton Mata going, I wanted 2 good options in that spot to compete against each other, and we have bought Portuguese 22-year-old Thiago Santos, who despite not having a great star rating, was rated highly by our scouts as our best right back option on the list. 8.75 million for a guy that started a lot of games for a decent mid-table French division team. That's what Lille are at this point in the rebuild. Played fairly well for them as well, got better and better each year, and for us as an attacking option on that right hand side, he could definitely do a good job, but that's not to say he can't defend well, because he can. So I think him and Nathan are going to have a real battle at the back now for that right back spot. A midfielder that might actually be able to get some game time though, unlike Astor of Ranks, is another Belgian player, this time with full international experience. It's Albert Sambi Lokonga, 25-year-old, joining us from Arsenal. He was on loan at Luton for a season and did well there, didn't play for Arsenal much the year after. Then the season following, got 4 starts and 1 bench appearance. Arsenal were ready to transfer list him. 12 million, even though it seems like a lot for a transfer listed player who hasn't been playing. For the ability he's got, I think it's worth it. I think he suits us very nicely, offers us cover in all of those midfield diamond roles, and I think he'll be a great player in that midfield. I have a good feeling about him. If he can get rid of those those injury problems, he could be a top-level central midfielder. Still 2 more signings more expensive than him though. Firstly, our new star centre-back, Mies Hilgers, who joins us from FC23 after 3 great seasons in the Eredivisie. Obviously, Eredivisie performances don't often translate to good performances in other leagues. That's been the case in real life, but for the French division, hopefully it'll be a nice, easy step up for him to make. 15 million, Mies Hilgers, good centre-back, nice pace, strength and ability, comes in as a right-footed player who's a good defender, but also a nice ball player, so can elevate our team a little bit. A consistent performer as well, as we saw, very good performances for Twente, a Dutch international, and hopefully our new main man at centre-back. But we have a new left-back now with Tagliafico getting a little bit older. We wanted someone to compete with him. Tagliafico not long left on his contract either, so Miguel Gutierrez comes in. He's someone that I sign in a lot of these rebuilds. I try not to sign the same players over and over again, but when there's a left-back this good, I mean, he's joined us in like 3 rebuilds now at this point, I think. Great physical ability, great technical, great mental ability. A future Spanish international, 23 years of age, has been smashing it for Girona and hopefully will keep doing it for us. I mean, he's came from the Real Madrid Academy. That bodes well. 80 million might seem like a lot, but I feel like for the valuation he's got here, you can see we have signed a quality player. And speaking of quality, there is now a lot of that in our first 11 and players really getting used to each other now at this point. Koneshi is our goalkeeper with Nathan at right back, Hilgers, Danzo and Gutierrez as our best defensive line. Bulat is behind the midfield with Kakare and Sambila Konga, followed by Rayan Cherki in front of them, Abel Ruiz and Kulimendo. Also, our backup striker for the year is Amin Sarr, who we have had at the club for a while, been on loan a few times and is scoring goals. Just thought I'd point him out because he is a fairly useful player in the team, even if we have got him transfer listed at this point. And for those interested, here is our squad depth. I'll click around. You guys can pause it if you want to see more, but I have got some decent options in every position now, particularly in those central midfield areas. And up front, we've got a few options too. So there we go. Our team is ready for season 4. Only 1 year left after this. And for this to be a successful rebuild, we definitely need to win at least the Champions League or Europa League or that first division title in France. Either of those would be great for us. Fingers crossed we can get some good results in season 4 because after that, there's only 1 year to go. And this is going to go down as the best season in the history of seasons for Lyon, for sure. I mean, we've absolutely destroyed it this year. We'll cover the big 2 in a second, but first, the French Cup. We beat Bordeaux in penalties. Did we beat anyone special to get there? We knocked out Saint-Etienne in penalties after a 0-0, knocked out Marseille, and we've won the competition for the first time since 2011. So over a decade since we last won that. So very happy to deliver the French Cup. The French division title, we have somehow got as well here. 1 point ahead of PSG. We lost 1 less game than them, drew 1 more game than them. We lost to PSG once, they lost to us once by the looks of it. Goal difference was favouring them, but we have snuck a title with 84 points. A brilliant performance, delighted with that. And then the Champions League, we have beat Chelsea 2-1 in the final to deliver that trophy as well. A real big year for us. Clearly our new signings have made the difference. Good to see we have won the Champions League before PSG did. So, you know, up theirs, we have won that. Chelsea, a 2-1 win as mentioned. Semi-final, we knocked out Newcastle of all people, 4-0, not the hardest run to the final. Beat Barcelona 7-6. What a tie that would have been to get to the semi-final. Round of 16, we knocked out PSV, so definitely not the hardest run in the world to the Champions League. Our hardest game was that Barca match and we won it. Chelsea would have been a tough final for sure, but not the hardest we could have had. And I mean, the league form has been absolutely incredible, particularly towards the end of the season. I mean, even at the start, we're not losing many games. Starts off a bit slow and then we really started kicking into gear and we've done so well there. Let's have a watch of this Champions League final, where Rayan Cherki scores after 1 minute here. That's going to be interesting to see. Mudryk for Chelsea, and then Cherki again getting the winner. What a player he is now, by the way. French international, 22, and a real talisman at the club. Let's see the goals. I would show the French Cup final, but, you know, we drew that and won in penalties. Look at those stats. We got absolutely battered there. These must be some good goals from Cherki, because no idea how we've won that. 3 shots on target, and we've won 2-1. Here we go. 7 seconds on the clock here. 8 seconds, and we're going forward. How early is this goal? I mean, 12 seconds in, Rayan Cherki has rounded the goalkeeper, scored. That's got to be some kind of Champions League record. What a great start that would have been to get off to. And then here's the goal for Chelsea, is it going to be? It looks like maybe a counter-attack from a corner. Hilgers wins it, falls to Abel Ruiz. Did we score? Oh, brilliant goal from Cherki. We actually scored before them to go 2-0 up, and then Chelsea scored here, which we don't really need to watch, but why not? Let's see it anyway. Reece James going forward to Raheem Sterling, still at the club, back to Reece James. A typical Reece James cross, finds Mudryk at the back post, who for once in his life actually finished a chance. I'm a Chelsea fan. I think the guy's got a lot of potential, but really needs to work on his end product and actually needs to get some game time. But yes, some great performances. Less about Mudryk there. Some great performances for us to get all the way to that final and to win it. 3 trophies in the bag. We can stop the rebuild here if we wanted. That's a great performance, and we've still got a year to go at this point. Abel Ruiz, no idea how we've held on to this man. Now an international for Spain on 5 appearances, but 0 goals. Has gone down as a fan favourite at the club, and who can blame them with 34 goals in 33 league appearances. A phenomenal year for him. Kulimendo doing great too. Cherki's best year yet with 26 goals in all comps. Sarr scoring when called upon. Dragus doing well. Hilgers, Sambi Lakonga, great year for all of them. Definitely a brilliant performance from our team to do so well to win all those trophies. Look at the links between the players as well. That is great to see. Koneshi having a great year in goal as well, developing into a good level goalkeeper. Facilities, you'll see we are improving, as well as our coaching and recruitment. We're also aiming to upgrade the capacity of the stadium at the minute as well. So hopefully we'll see an improvement there. 160 million in the finances, debts and loans, there is barely anything. And then we've got 80 million pounds to spend this year with 200k in the wage budget. Whether we'll spend that all, I don't know, but we'll see what kind of depth we can add to this team in our final transfer window. This rebuild is already a success no matter what happens, but hopefully we can win some more trophies with the right players coming in. Going to run through the sales very quickly. Maitland-Niles has gone to Almeria for 1.1 mil after a good season at Reims. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, as we expected, didn't do too much and made us a profit in the end, going to Crystal Palace for 4 million. Tagliafico's time is up and he wanted to head back to Argentina to River Plate, so he's going to enjoy himself there, I'm sure. 3.3 million pounds for him. El Arouche has been getting less and less game time over the years. He wanted to go. AJ Arcer came in here. He was going to be a star player over there, so he did want to go and join them, so he has. He's gone to the second division, 3.9 mil, did so well for us in the first couple of years, but as we brought in better players, didn't get much game time and has kind of fell off a little bit. So hopefully he finds his career there. He's going to be a great player in the second division for sure. And Yasin Ketcher is our final sale. We bought him in early on for 3.5 mil, played a few times, not much last year, so then we sold him on to 6.5 million to Shakhtar out in Ukraine. We spent 54 million pounds this summer, but we spent absolutely nothing on our new backup left back. Tagliafico has left, so Prince Anying is going to be the deputy to Miguel Gutierrez here. Bought him from Dortmund after leaving on a free for them. Was playing in the first division of France last year pretty consistently and did okay. He's not great, but he's got decent potential. Backup left back, doesn't need to be great, let's be honest. And that freed up some extra cash to buy some other players, including this new gen striker Ismail Kuchik, who is going to be our backup behind Kulimendo and Ruiz up front. Comes in as a great third option with 2 strikers that we've got at the club. We want a third that can really compete with them. He joins us from Konyaspor for 11.75 million. A wonder kid with great physical ability, great pace and acceleration. He has got a very bright future and is already tearing it up on an international level. 29-year-old Ivorian Frank Kessié has joined us in the midfield. He's a very consistent performer. Was playing out in Saudi Arabia and doing so well for them over there. And I still think he's got a lot in the tank to play for us. He's going to join us and come in as one of our best midfielders straight away. We signed this backup right back as well, Jorge Diaz, and loaned him straight back out, so we'll never see him, but just thought I'd mention him. Scouts have done very well here to find a good backup right back who's eventually going to be our starter, I'm sure. But Frank Kessié might not be our best central midfielder because we have spent 40 million on a 20-year-old midfielder from Schalke. It's 6'4" German Hassan Udrego, who has amazing ability, both physically, mentally and technically. One of the best midfielders you will see in all of Football Manager, valued at 130 mil, shows you just how good he is. And with him joining, he's our biggest transfer yet, but he does really improve the team, which now looks like this. Our best 11 to finish off is Koneshi in goal, Nathan at right back developing nicely, with Hilgers at the back alongside Kevin Danzo, Gutierrez, Kakare, Kessie, Udrego, Kulimendo, Ruiz and Rayan Cherki, who finishes off looking something like this. But we do still have another season. The stadium capacity is currently down because we are building an extension to take us to 65,000 seats in the stadium, so that's going to be great. But let's see what we can do in our final season. Can we deliver some more trophies? Let's see. And you know what? I kind of wish we didn't do this final season because it has kind of it stunk basically. It's a terrible last year. Let's be honest though, we're probably still living off the highs of last season. In terms of the board, they're still pretty happy with us. They don't mind too much. Third in the league behind Monaco and PSG, kind of back to where we started, but clearly our squad's much better than what we inherited. Champions League, just a rough day at the office. League phase, we just missed out on being automatically going through to the knockout, so we had to play a playoff against Porto, who should have been an easy win, but they beat us 7-4 overall. Very, very disappointing. And then they then went on to get smashed by Man City. So yeah, disappointing there. PSG do win the Champions League in the end, but let's be honest, it doesn't matter because we got there first. So we'll take that title and run away with it. The Super Cup runners-up losing to Aston Villa 1-0. These could have been trophies that we should have had. French Cup semi-final, PSG knocking us out. Clearly they didn't take losing all of those trophies well. They haven't really signed anyone really, but they've still got so many great players at the club. I mean, Mbappe is still here at the age of 28. This guy is an absolute legend of football. But yeah, not the best year at all. If we have a look at the best performers, it's probably going to be the players you'd expect. Yes, Udrego having a good year, now valued at 150 million, the 21-year-old. Ryan Cherki still doing just as well for us. Abel Ruiz, Kulimendo, all of the usual suspects, and that new striker, the Turkish guy, has scored plenty of goals for us with 14 goals in 30 appearances, most of them being off the bench as well. In terms of the club, the capacity is now there at 66,000. The facilities are amazing, fully maxed out everything. We don't usually see that. I don't think I've seen that anyway in a past rebuild. Great staff setup as well. We've got great players in the dev centre, plenty of young talent that could come through into the first team, which is awesome. And that right back we signed is now valued at 40 million, so that's great business there. Finances, 150 million pounds in the bank, and that is our rebuild complete. Very happy with that overall. Even if that last season did stink a little bit, we did win all the trophies we wanted to, even if we did save it for a singular season. But we have bought in some great players, really rejuvenised this squad, got lots of young talent in it as well, and hopefully this is the future for Lyon and they don't find themselves with their ultras shouting at them anymore. They don't find themselves at the bottom of the French league table. This will be something I think Lyon fans could get behind. So thank you for watching. Like I say, if you have enjoyed, smash the like button, but most of all, have a great day everybody, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.